too many times.
You love working with Ron?
I do. As we can all attest, he is a horrible taskmaster.
Tom Hanks is known as one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, but even America's favorite actor isn't immune to behind-the-scenes tensions. Over his decades-long career, Hanks has crossed paths with a few co-stars and critics who left a sour taste. Some have even left a distasteful romantic imprint. These relationships have become more than just rumors. They shaped how Hanks navigated fame and friendship in Tinseltown. So who are the select few that landed on Tom Hanks's personal blacklist? And what exactly happened to turn admiration into animosity? Let's uncover the 5 actors Tom Hanks hated the most. Number 5. The feud between Hollywood's nicest guys, Tom Hanks and Henry Winkler. When you think of the kindest, most universally liked celebrities in Hollywood, 2 names often come to mind: Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks. Both men are widely regarded as affable, humble, and generous individuals who have earned the affection of fans, colleagues, and critics alike. Yet, beneath their friendly public personas lies an unexpected and long-standing tension, one that has puzzled Hollywood insiders and fans for over 3 decades. At the heart of this surprising feud is the 1989 comedy film Turner and Hooch, a buddy cop story involving a detective played by Tom Hanks and a large, slobbering dog named Hooch. What many people don't know is that Happy Days legend Henry Winkler was originally hired to direct the film. However, Winkler was abruptly fired just 13 days into production, a move that reportedly stemmed from a clash with the film's leading man, Tom Hanks. Henry Winkler, whose career skyrocketed to fame in the 1970s as Arthur the Fonz Fonzarelli on the hit sitcom Happy Days. The role made Winkler an icon, embodying coolness in leather jackets and slicked-back hair. Beyond Happy Days, Winkler has enjoyed a diverse career in both comedy and drama, with acclaimed performances in shows like Arrested Development, Parks and Recreation, and more recently, Barry, for which he won an Emmy in 2018. Outside of acting, Winkler has worked behind the camera as a director and producer, and co-authored several children's books, often drawing on his personal struggles with dyslexia. Beloved by fans and widely admired in the industry, Winkler is known for his humility and positive attitude, traits that make the story of his falling out with Tom Hanks all the more surprising. So, what really happened between Hollywood's Mr. Nice Guys? The root of the Winkler-Hanks drama began during the pre-production and early filming of Turner and Hooch. Winkler was hired to direct the film, but was let go less than 2 weeks into shooting. For years, speculation has surrounded the circumstances of his dismissal. The common belief is that creative tensions and personality clashes with Hanks were to blame. Winkler himself has addressed the incident publicly on several occasions, often with a touch of humor, but also with unmistakable disappointment. In a past interview, he famously quipped, "Let's just say I got along better with Hooch than I did with Turner." This light-hearted jab at Hanks only added fuel to the long-running speculation about bad blood between the two. In a more recent interview, Winkler elaborated on what he believes sparked the feud. He recalled a moment during location scouting in Carmel, California, where a woman recognized him from his Happy Days fame and shouted, "Henry, Fonz, oh my God!" Winkler responded graciously and tried to include his co-star, saying, "And of course, you know Tom Hanks." According to Winkler, this moment somehow rubbed Hanks the wrong way, leading to Winkler being added to the list of Tom Hanks' most hated actors. The director of photography later told Winkler, "I knew this was going to happen on that day in Carmel." Just days later, Winkler was off the project, and the movie went on to be directed by Roger Spottiswoode. Despite the long history of the incident, The tension between Winkler and Hanks has never escalated into an outright public feud. Instead, it's been marked by years of distance and cordial but frosty interactions. Winkler has emphasized that when they do encounter each other at industry events, their exchanges are polite, if not particularly warm. "Always cordial," he said, leaving plenty unsaid between the lines. Tom Hanks, for his part, has rarely commented on the situation publicly, maintaining his image as Hollywood's most beloved leading man. This silence has only added to the intrigue, with fans left to piece together the story from Winkler's comments and the abrupt shakeup behind Turner and Hooch. Many fans find it difficult to reconcile the idea that two of the most likable men in show business could harbor such long-standing tension. Online forums and social media platforms often express confusion, with some blaming Hanks for overreacting, while others wonder if Winkler may have been difficult on set. Critics and entertainment journalists have also weighed in over the years, mostly with curiosity rather than judgment. The situation is often cited as a rare example of behind-the-scenes drama involving two stars who otherwise seem unflappable and egoless. It's the kind of Hollywood oddity that gets whispered about more than it gets analyzed, largely because neither party has shown much interest in rekindling the story. More than 30 years later, the Winkler-Hanks fallout remains one of the more unusual chapters in Hollywood. It doesn't involve scandal or public meltdown, just a quiet, unresolved clash between two gentlemen of the screen. Of course, both Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks have enjoyed long, successful careers and remain beloved by fans around the world. Their curious disconnect, however, adds a layer of complexity to their otherwise glowing reputations. As far as celebrity feuds go, it's far from the most dramatic, but perhaps all the more fascinating because of who's involved. Tom Hanks's widely talked tensed relationship with Winkler is far from the only plucky relationship in Hanks's long-celebrated career, but this particular relationship has fascinated many more than most. So, what really happened between Tom Hanks and an on-screen lover? Let's delve into the details of the nervy relationship between co-stars. Number 4. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, Hollywood's favorite on-screen couple. In 1993, Sleepless in Seattle captured the hearts of moviegoers everywhere with its unique blend of romance, family, and serendipity. Directed by the late, great Nora Ephron, the film starred Tom Hanks as Sam Baldwin, a widowed father in Seattle, and Meg Ryan as Annie Reed, a journalist in Boston who becomes captivated by Sam after hearing his story on a national radio show. Their characters barely meet face-to-face until the final scene, yet the film managed to convey an emotional and romantic intensity that left audiences swooning. The movie, inspired by the 1957 classic An Affair to Remember, has become one of the most enduring romantic comedies of all time. Now, more than 30 years since its release, Sleepless in Seattle remains a cultural touchstone, and the pairing of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan continues to be revered as one of the most iconic duos in Hollywood history. But behind the camera, the dynamic between the two wasn't quite as storybook as their on-screen romances. Meg Ryan, who rose to fame in the 1980s with roles in films like Top Gun and When Harry Met Sally, the latter establishing her as Hollywood's reigning rom-com queen. Her talent for portraying relatable, emotionally rich, and often quirky characters made her a favorite among audiences, so it's not far-fetched that she's paired with another Hollywood favorite of that time. Throughout the 90s, she headlined a string of successful films, including French Kiss, City of Angels, and You've Got Mail, again opposite Tom Hanks. Her bubbly charm and emotional nuance cemented her place in pop culture as America's sweetheart. However, Her career took a turn in the early 2000s, amid media scrutiny of her personal life and a shift in Hollywood's taste for leading ladies. Though she largely stepped away from acting in the 2010s, she made a quiet return with Ithaca in 2015, which she directed and co-starred in with Hanks. The on-screen chemistry between Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan is undeniably electric. From Sleepless in Seattle to You've Got Mail, their portrayals of love struck characters who navigate distance, timing, and life's complications have enchanted generations. Their collaborations feel effortless, natural, even fated. But off-screen, things have always been more nuanced. In a 2023 interview, Hanks revealed, "I must say, Meg and I are not real close pals. We see each other every now and again. It's like we don't hang out for coffee. But when we pick up, we just pick up where we left off. And it's an effortless thing that I don't think either one of us examines too much, because if we did, it'd be a problem." This admission surprised many fans who long assumed that such a palpable on-screen connection must mirror real-life friendship. But the truth is, their professional bond seems to be rooted in mutual respect and a shared work ethic, rather than any deep personal closeness. Ryan herself offered a similarly tempered perspective. In a more recent interview, she reflected on their working relationship, saying, "Tom doesn't like there to be drama. I feel the same way. We're just really there to have fun. This is supposed to be a creative experience, and there's no reason to get heavy." When fans learned that Hanks and Ryan weren't particularly close off-screen, reactions ranged from disbelief to mild heartbreak. For many, their relationship embodied the very idea of soulmates, two people destined to find each other again and again across lifetimes, cities, and dial-up internet connections. Discovering that the actors themselves shared no such connection felt like discovering that Santa Claus isn't real. This revelation has led to many wondering if there's more to what the two Kyo stars are saying. Some deep fuse that's casted a large dark cloud over their relationship beyond the professional one, but why on earth has the spark not flown off screen? Critics, however, were less surprised. Many noted that the ability to create chemistry on camera doesn't always require a personal connection off-screen. In fact, some argue that Hanks and Ryan's performances were so powerful precisely because they were professionals with different energies. Hanks, the grounded, everyman type. Ryan, the sparkling, spontaneous romantic. Still, the idea that one of Hollywood's most beloved couples never truly connected outside of work has prompted fresh discussion about how we project narratives onto celebrity relationships. The truth is often less glossy, but perhaps more admirable. Two performers doing what they do best, without needing to turn their working relationship into something it's not. Despite what seems like a tense off-screen relationship, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan helped define what a romantic comedy could be: heartfelt, intelligent, funny, and deeply human. While their personal rapport may lack the intimacy that fans once imagined, their professional collaborations remain some of the most celebrated in modern film history. Number 3. Ron Howard and Tom Hanks. The Bumpy. Chapter. While Meg Ryan and Hanks always got along professionally, the same cannot always be said about his relationship with Ron Howard. Ron Howard and Tom Hanks are two of the most respected names in Hollywood. Howard, once a beloved child actor, transitioned into one of the most successful filmmakers of his generation, while Hanks evolved from sitcom stardom into a two-time Academy Award-winning actor. Over the decades, the two have formed one of the industry's most productive director-actor partnerships. However, their working relationship hasn't always been without friction. In fact, early tensions between Hanks and actor-director Henry Winkler, who has long been close to Howard, once cast a shadow over their collaboration. a shadow thick enough to put Ron Howard on Hanks's blacklist. Ron Howard, who began his career as a child actor, most famously playing Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show, and later Richie Cunningham on Happy Days, has always been a fascinating character. While many child stars fade from public view, Howard made a seamless transition behind the camera, quickly gaining recognition for his directing skills. His breakout film, Splash, starred a young Tom Hanks and was a box office hit, blending romance, fantasy, and comedy in a way that became emblematic of Howard's early style. Howard went on to direct some of the most acclaimed films of the 90s and the decade that followed, including Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, and Cinderella Man. He won the Academy Award for Best Director for A Beautiful Mind and has continued to direct across genres, including historical dramas, thrillers, and even Star Wars entries like Solo, a Star Wars title story, in 2018. Throughout his directing career, his collaborations with Tom Hanks have been among his most notable and commercially successful. The partnership between Ron Howard and Tom Hanks began with Splash, which was both a critical and commercial success. Their creative synergy was undeniable. Howard's knack for storytelling and Hanks's charisma made them a natural team. They reunited for Apollo 13, where Hanks portrayed astronaut Jim Lovell in one of the most intense, realistic space dramas ever made. The film received 9 Academy Award nominations and cemented both men's reputations as Hollywood heavyweights. Howard and Hanks continued their partnership into the 2000s and beyond, collaborating on Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code trilogy. While critical reception was mixed, the films were major box office draws and further showcased the trust and familiarity between the director and actor. However, not all was smooth between the two creative forces. A particularly tricky moment came during the filming of Turner and Hooch. Although Ron Howard did not direct the film as Roger Spottiswoode ultimately took over, but Howard was closely connected to its early development, and his longtime friend and Happy Days co-star, Henry Winkler, was originally set to direct. That's where the trouble began. Winkler and Hanks reportedly clashed almost immediately on set. Winkler, known for his easygoing demeanor and comedic instincts, found it difficult to work with Hanks's more methodical and serious approach. Within 2 weeks of filming, Winkler was fired from the project. In later years, Winkler didn't mince words about the experience, famously saying, "Let's just say I got along better with Hooch than I did with Turner." Howard, stuck in the middle, attempted to mediate between the two, given his professional loyalty to Hanks and his decades-long friendship with Winkler. He later acknowledged the strain, describing it as unfortunate and confirming that efforts were made behind the scenes to smooth things over. While Howard wasn't publicly vocal during the incident, his later reflections indicate that it was a sensitive and difficult moment for all involved. Despite the fallout, Ron Howard and Tom Hanks continued working together without interruption, which is a testament to their professionalism. Howard has since gone on record to say that his relationship with Hanks has improved significantly over time and remains strong. In fact, he's even joked about inviting both Hanks and Winkler to his birthday parties, suggesting that while the incident left a mark, it didn't destroy any lasting relationships. For Howard, the ability to maintain friendships and working relationships, even amid creative disagreements, has always been one of his strengths. His calm demeanor and long-standing reputation as a nice guy director likely helped everyone involved move forward. When news of the old Turner and Hooch tension resurfaced in recent years, especially as Winkler shared more candid reflections, fans were surprised. Industry insiders, however, took a more measured view. In Hollywood, clashes between actors and directors are not uncommon. What stood out in this case was how all three men, Hanks, Winkler, and Howard chose not to let one uncomfortable chapter define their professional paths. In the end, the Howard-Hanks partnership has more than withstood the test of time. Their body of work together, ranging from romantic comedies to space dramas to high-stakes thrillers, demonstrates a rare, enduring creative alignment. While Turner and Hooch may have introduced a hiccup early on, it ultimately became just a footnote in a decades-long collaboration that has helped shape modern American cinema. Whether or not they'll work together again remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. Ron Howard and Tom Hanks are a duo that continues to leave an indelible mark on Hollywood history, even if they had to survive a little drama along the way. While Tom Hanks may have found success and stability over the years, that wasn't a given at the beginning. In fact, his first marriage to Samantha Lewis nearly ruined him. So, what exactly happened between Hollywood's Mr. Nice Guy and his first flame? Let's have a look at the details. Number 2. Samantha Lewis and Tom Hanks, a complicated first love. Tom Hanks is often held up as Hollywood's golden boy, charming, humble, scandal-free, and widely respected both on and off screen. With iconic roles in films like Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan, and Castaway, he has built a reputation as one of the most beloved and bankable stars in film history. But behind the glowing public image is a lesser-known chapter in Hanks's life: his first marriage to actress Samantha Lewis. It was a union forged in youth, shadowed by hardship, and, according to later revelations, marked by emotional strain and personal trauma. So, it's not a surprise that Samantha Lewis made it onto the list of Tom Hanks's most hated actors. Born Susan Jane Dillingham, Samantha Lewis was an actress who studied theater alongside Tom Hanks at California State University, Sacramento. Using the stage name Samantha Lewis, she took on a few small acting roles, including appearances in the sitcom Bosom Buddies and the TV movie Mr. Success, but she never reached the same level of stardom as her husband. Her real identity, however, came to be defined more by her relationship with Hanks and the family they built together than her acting career. The two met in college in the early 1970s, when Hanks was still a struggling theater student trying to find stability in his chaotic life. Coming from a vagabond childhood, as he later described it, Tom Hanks moved through more than 10 homes growing up. This instability left him feeling lonely and emotionally scattered, a void he hoped to fill by starting a family of his own. In 1977, the young couple welcomed their first child, Colin Hanks. A year later, they moved to a cramped Manhattan apartment to pursue Hanks's acting dreams, marrying in 1978. By 1982, their daughter Elizabeth Ann Hanks, often referred to as EA, was born, completing their family. At the time, Hanks was only in his early 20s and grappling with the weight of fatherhood, financial pressure, and a career still in its infancy. While the early years of their marriage were full of hope, things began to unravel as Hanks's acting career began to take off. He became increasingly absent due to long work hours and filming commitments. The strain of fame, coupled with personal differences, began to fracture the marriage. In 1984, the couple separated, and by 1987, their divorce was finalized. Samantha retained primary custody of the children and later relocated from Los Angeles to Sacramento without informing Hanks, a move that reportedly left him blindsided. According to EA's 2024 memoir, The 10, a Memoir of Family and the Open Road, Hanks had to track them down after discovering that his ex-wife and children were no longer living in the same city. This dramatic move added tension to an already fragile co-parenting arrangement and fueled ongoing issues between Hanks and Lewis. Some critics of Samantha Lewis's actions described the move as selfish and vindictive, while others argued it reflected the desperation and instability she herself may have been experiencing as a single mother of two. Either way, the relocation became a controversial footnote in Tom Hanks's personal life, and reportedly earned Lewis a quiet spot on the list of people he found most difficult to deal with. Perhaps the most shocking chapter in this complicated family saga came with the publication of E.A. Hanks's memoir, in which she detailed a childhood filled with what she described as confusion, violence, deprivation, and love. She alleged that her mother, Samantha, had been both emotionally and physically violent during her formative years. These revelations cast a dark light on Lewis, who passed away from bone cancer in 2002 at the age of 49. In the memoir, E.A. stops short of demonizing her mother, describing her instead as a deeply complicated figure who was herself struggling with pain and uncertainty. Still, the portrayal of Samantha raised difficult questions about the true nature of her relationship with her children, and how the divorce and separation from Hanks may have affected her mental and emotional well-being. Tom Hanks has rarely spoken in detail about his first marriage. In interviews, he's acknowledged that he married young, perhaps too young, and that his motivations were rooted in a desire to create the stability he never had as a child. "I was 23, and my son Colin was already 2 when I married his mom," Hanks once said. "I was not really ready to take on those responsibilities." When Hanks met actress and singer Rita Wilson on the set of Volunteers in 1981, a new chapter of his life began. They married in 1988 and have remained together ever since, building what many consider to be one of Hollywood's most enduring relationships. Hanks has credited Wilson with grounding him emotionally and spiritually, something he admits he didn't have in his first marriage. While Hanks has made peace with some of these relationships, some of them have continued to drag on, with animosity taking the center stage every time the other person's name is mentioned. That's exactly the state of the relationship between Tom Hanks and Sean Penn. But what really happened that drove their relationship through the mire? Let's find out. Number 1. Sean Penn and Tom Hanks' tense relationship. Sean Penn and Tom Hanks are both icons of American cinema. Each boasts an extraordinary career that spans decades, collecting accolades, awards, and critical acclaim along the way. While both actors have portrayed groundbreaking roles that earned them Academy Awards, particularly for playing homosexual characters in major motion pictures, their views on representation in modern Hollywood have placed them on opposite sides of a very public and deeply cultural debate. Though they've never starred together on screen, the ideological divide between Hanks and Penn has sparked tension between the two Hollywood heavyweights, leading some to speculate about the underlying friction in their personal and professional relationship. Tom Hanks, known for his affable nature and versatile filmography, gained critical recognition for his role as attorney Andrew Beckett in Philadelphia in 1993. The film tackled the deeply stigmatized issues of HIV, AIDS, and homophobia, and Hanks's performance won him his first Academy Award for Best Actor. In Philadelphia, Hanks played a homosexual man fighting a legal battle after being fired due to his AIDS diagnosis, a performance that was both moving and historically significant. Sean Penn, on the other hand, won his second Best Actor Oscar for portraying Harvey Milk, the first openly gay elected official in California, in Milk in 2008. Penn's performance was lauded for its passion, intensity, and sincerity. Milk, directed by Gus Van Sant, was seen as a powerful tribute to the homosexual rights movement and a reminder of the violent resistance homosexual politicians like Milk faced. While both actors were applauded for their portrayals of these characters, their interpretations of what those roles mean today and who should play them have divided not only themselves, but also Hollywood and audiences. In a 2022 interview with the New York Times, Tom Hanks addressed the shifting cultural landscape in Hollywood and how it affects casting choices. Reflecting on his groundbreaking role in Philadelphia, Hanks was candid about how he sees the film in today's context. "Could a straight man do what I did in Philadelphia now?" Hanks asked rhetorically. "No, and rightly so." He elaborated that the film was made in a time when audiences were just beginning to confront homosexual stories in mainstream cinema. The casting of a widely beloved straight actor in the role helped the film reach broader audiences who might have otherwise avoided such a topic. But times, Hanks insists, have changed. "We're beyond that now, and I don't think people would accept the inauthenticity of a straight guy playing a gay guy," he added. Hanks expressed support for more authentic casting, arguing that modern audiences expect greater sensitivity and representation. "It's not a crime for people to want authenticity." These remarks were met with widespread praise by many homosexual advocates and progressive voices in Hollywood. For them, Hanks's comments showed growth, awareness, and a willingness to evolve with the times. Sean Penn, never one to shy away from controversy, offered a starkly different viewpoint. In his own interview with the New York Times, Penn challenged the idea that only homosexual actors should play homosexual roles. Referring to what he sees as a wave of tremendous overreach in entertainment, Penn argued that such restrictions stifle artistic freedom. Penn's response predictably drew both criticism and applause. Some lauded him for defending artistic freedom and resisting what they see as overbearing political correctness. Others accused him of being tone-deaf and dismissive of the homosexual community's long fight for visibility and fair representation. While Penn and Hanks have never publicly feuded, insiders have described a clear chill between the two stars. Industry observers speculate that their opposing views on representation, coupled with their differing temperaments, Hanks, the measured diplomat, Penn, the outspoken rebel, have created a rift that goes beyond philosophical disagreement. According to some sources close to the two, Hanks has grown increasingly frustrated with Penn's unwillingness to acknowledge the evolving standards of cultural sensitivity. Meanwhile, Penn is said to view Hanks' shift toward what he sees as performative wokeness with skepticism. In entertainment circles, Penn has even been quietly listed among the actors Hanks hates the most. The public reaction to their opposing statements has been just as divided. Fans of Tom Hanks praised his nuanced, forward-thinking approach, appreciating his willingness to step back and let marginalized voices lead their own stories. Conversely, fans of Sean Penn argue that he is defending the essence of acting, the ability to step into someone else's shoes regardless of background or identity. To them, restricting roles based on personal identity is a slippery slope that could undermine the core of performance art. Critics have weighed in on both sides. Some film scholars have noted that Penn's viewpoint, while defending creativity, fails to recognize the historical underrepresentation and stereotyping of homosexual characters. Meanwhile, defenders of Penn point out that many groundbreaking performances, from Daniel Day-Lewis to Cate Blanchett, have involved actors portraying characters very different from themselves. While it's unlikely the two will collaborate anytime soon, their contributions to cinema remain indelible. Their opposing views may never be reconciled, but both men continue to shape the conversations that define the future of storytelling. In the end, it's not just about who plays whom, it's about who gets to be heard, seen, and respected in the evolving world of film. Whatever that means. This back and forth has rightly earned Penn a place on the list of the names of the actors Tom Hanks hated the most. Sean Penn once gave an interview in which he expressed that he didn't understand the hype around Hanks's performances in Forrest Gump. calling the character a ham-fisted invention. The comments sparked minor waves in Hollywood. It's safe to say Penn doesn't rate Hanks, and the feeling is mutual. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out another interesting video by clicking on the video shown on your screen. See you on the other side.